Welcome to today's episode. Close your eyes for a second. Think about your sister, or maybe the person who feels most like a sister to you. What comes to mind? A childhood secret? A shared laugh that no one else understands? Maybe it's the memory of a fight that looking back seems silly now. Today, we're going to talk about sisters. The quiet force that shapes who we are, even when we don't notice it. When we think of sisters, the first images that usually come to mind are from childhood. Two small figures sharing a bedroom, fighting over toys, clothes, or who sits by the window in the car. But underneath those everyday battles is a quiet alliance that begins forming from the very first years. Imagine two little girls born a few years apart. To the world, they're just siblings, but to each other, they're the first friends, the first rivals, the first protectors. One might be louder, the other quieter. One might take the lead, the other might watch carefully. Yet together, they create a language of their own, an unspoken bond built on bedtime whispers, shared glances across the dinner table, and games that only make sense to them. In these early years, sisters teach each other lessons no one else can. They learn patience as they share toys. They learn forgiveness after a fight. They learn loyalty when facing the outside world. And sometimes they also learn independence, knowing that it's okay to be different from the person who seems closest to you. As sisters grow older, the bond can become complicated. Teenage years bring changes that can test even the closest connection. Suddenly, clothes, friends, and privacy matter more than ever. Sisters might fight over the smallest things: whose turn it is in the bathroom, whose favorite song is playing too loud, or who borrowed whose sweater without asking. But beneath the shouting and slammed doors, there's something unbreakable. The knowledge that, at the end of the day, you still care about each other, even if you don't say it out loud. It's funny how, during those years, sisters can become both best friends and worst enemies, sometimes in the same afternoon. They know each other's insecurities and fears, and sometimes they use them to hurt, but they're also the first to step in if someone else dares to do the same. It's a delicate dance of love and rivalry, closeness and distance, and yet these years often become the foundation for an even deeper connection later. As life moves forward, sisters start to build their own worlds. One might move away for college. Another might stay closer to home. They might choose different careers, different cities, even different countries. Distance can feel scary at first. The daily chats become weekly calls. Shared meals become holiday reunions. But here's the beautiful part. The bond often doesn't weaken. Instead, it changes, becoming something softer but stronger. Instead of arguing over little things, conversations deepen. They talk about dreams, disappointments, relationships and fears. They listen without judging. They celebrate each other's successes, and when one falls, the other is often the first to help her back up. Even if life choices take them to completely different places, there's always a part of each sister's heart that feels tied to the other. There's something magical about the way sisters support each other, even without words. It could be a text message late at night, "Are you okay?" Or a simple "I'm proud of you," sent after seeing a photo online. Sometimes It's just showing up, sitting next to each other at a family dinner, sharing a knowing glance when an awkward topic comes up. Other times, it's picking up the phone when you know your sister is having a hard day, even if she never asked. Sisters are often the ones who remember the small details, your favorite dessert, the song you used to listen to on repeat, the way you always get nervous before big events. They notice the moments you're quiet. They hear the words you don't say. That kind of support doesn't need to be loud. It's silent, steady, and deeply comforting. One of the gifts sisters give each other is shared memory. Think about it. They're the only people who remember your childhood almost the way you do. They remember the old family house, the smell of your mum's cooking, the way your dad used to laugh at his own jokes. When you're older, those memories become precious. You might sit together on a couch, laughing about old photos, finishing each other's stories, or gently arguing about what really happened. In those moments, you realize your sister isn't just part of your past. She's a bridge between who you were and who you've become. Of course, not everyone has a biological sister, but life has a way of giving us sisters anyway. A childhood friend who stood by you through heartbreak, a college roommate who stayed up all night talking about life, a colleague who cheered for you when no one else did. These sisters by choice might not share your blood, but they share your heart. They understand you in ways few people do. They celebrate your joys and stand with you in pain. Sometimes these chosen sisters even become closer than family. They prove that sisterhood isn't just about being born into the same family. It's about love, loyalty, and shared experience. Not every sister story is perfect. Sometimes differences become too big. Words are said that can't be taken back. Years might pass with little or no contact. It hurts. A lot. Because losing a sister feels like losing a part of yourself. But time can heal. And even when sisters drift apart, many find their way back to each other. Sometimes quietly, through a message or a call that simply says, "I miss you." Even if the bond changes, the history remains. And for some, that's enough to rebuild what was lost. As we grow older, we realize something profound. Sisters often become a kind of home. They're the people you can call at midnight just to hear a familiar voice. They're the ones who remember your awkward teenage years, but still see the best in you. They're the ones who can make you laugh when you feel like crying. And when life feels overwhelming, they remind you of who you really are. That's why, even if you live far apart, you can still feel close. Because home isn't always a place. Sometimes it's a person. One of the most beautiful parts of sisterhood is watching it continue. When sisters grow up and have children, something magical happens. They become aunts to each other's kids. They share advice, laugh about old stories, and sometimes see themselves in the new generation. They become the storytellers, passing on family history, traditions, and jokes only sisters understand. Through these new little lives, the bond transforms again. Sisters become each other's allies in parenting, sharing both the joys and the struggles. And those children, growing up, see what it means to love your sister. And maybe they'll find the same bond in their own lives. Sisters don't always say, "I love you," out loud. Sometimes it sounds like, "Text me when you get home. Don't forget your scarf, it's cold. Call me if you need anything. I made your favorite dish." These small phrases carry so much meaning. Because love between sisters isn't always grand or dramatic. It's everyday, quiet, and constant. It's in the little things, the small acts of kindness, the shared looks, the silent understanding. And that, perhaps, is the deepest kind of love. So, whether you're lucky enough to have a sister by blood, or you've found sisters along your journey, cherish them. Remember the silly fights, the long talks, the quiet support. Remember that no matter how far apart life takes you, there's a part of your heart that always beats alongside hers. Because sisters, in the end, are more than family. They are our mirrors, our memories, and sometimes our soulmates. Thank you for listening. Until next time, hold your sisters close.